Imagine this. A massive creature ruled the skies, but it wasn't even a dinosaur. Have you ever wondered what was really happening in the skies of ancient Earth? What if I told you there was a creature as tall as a giraffe that could actually fly? Would you believe me? Do you really know this creature that lived during the age of dinosaurs, but wasn't actually a dinosaur at all? In this lost world, the sky looked nothing like it does today. Today, I'm telling the story of one of the most mysterious and powerful flyers among all prehistoric animals, the Pteranodon. What do you think was this creature's greatest strength? What was its biggest weakness? Drop your answer in the comments because we're going to talk about it together at the end of the video. If you're ready, let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video because we're about to uncover so much on this journey. This incredible journey began in the 1870s in the state of Kansas, in America. That period was also a turning point for the world of paleontology, since scientists were only just beginning to make sense of the prehistoric eras. In an arid stretch of land, they discovered something that had never been found before. Massive, thin, strangely shaped bones. Was this a wing bone? Or did it belong to some unknown ancient creatures? At first, no one knew exactly what they were looking at. The man behind this discovery was the famous paleontologist Othniel Charles Marsh. At the time, America was in the middle of the Bone Wars, where scientists competed fiercely with one another, each chasing the next big fossil discovery. A rivalry that made solving this mystery even harder. When Marsh examined these bones, he was stunned. It had wings, but it wasn't a bird. It was massive, but it looked like a reptile. Think about it. Finding fossils back then wasn't nearly as easy as it is today. Every dig, every bone fragment was like a small door opening into the mysteries of ancient Earth. What's more, these bones didn't match any known species of dinosaurs either, which made things even more complicated. If it were you, what would you have felt holding those bones for the first time? Drop a sentence in the comments. We'll continue in a bit. Thanks to his genius, Marsh finally gave this mysterious creature a name. Pteranodon, meaning toothless wing, because it didn't have a single tooth in its mouth, one of the most distinctive traits that set it apart from other pterosaurs. This act of naming is considered a significant moment in the history of paleontology, since by identifying this creature, Marsh shed the first light for the scientific world. At the time, many fossils belonging to the Cretaceous period had not yet been discovered, so the name given to the Pteranodon became a reference point for all future paleontology research. This single act of naming was, in fact, a giant step forward in our journey to understand the prehistoric world. What do you think a scientist should consider most when naming a creature they know nothing about? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. And this was only the beginning. In the following years, hundreds more Pteranodon fossils were found in the same region, in what was once a vast inland sea called the Niobrara Formation. These findings show that the Pteranodon wasn't rare during the Cretaceous period. It truly ruled the skies. This was also an incredible era in terms of fossil discovery. Every new dig brought the true face of ancient Earth during that time into sharper focus. Scientists were beginning to realize that the Pteranodon wasn't just a rare exception, but the leading figure of an entire ecosystem. Do you think it was just a coincidence that so many fossils were found in the same area? I'm looking forward to your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's set aside the excitement of discovery and look at just how massive this creature really was. When it comes to the size of these prehistoric animals, the numbers are truly going to surprise you. The moment you saw a Pteranodon in the sky, the first thing that would strike you was its size. Its wingspan reached up to 6 meters in some individuals. Think about that. That's nearly double the wingspan of today's largest flying bird, the California condor. Anyone looking up at the sky during the Cretaceous period might have mistaken a Pteranodon for a small airplane. But here's the most surprising part. Despite being so massive, the Pteranodon was incredibly lightweight. It weighed only 20 to 25 kilograms. How is that even possible? This is a truly astonishing example of balance when it comes to evolution explained, because nature managed to give this creature both enormous size and remarkable lightness at the same time. Details like this show us just how complex and creative the prehistoric world really was. So how did a creature this massive even get off the ground? Scientists have debated this for a long time. Some believe it launched itself by dropping from high cliffs, while others argue it used its powerful forelimbs to push off the ground and take flight. Which theory makes more sense to you? For comparison, it's almost impossible for an animal the size of a human today to be this lightweight, which makes the Pteranodon a creature that seemed to defy the rules of physics. Analyses done on fossils show that this lightness was the result of a millions of years long evolutionary process. If you find these kinds of details about prehistoric animals fascinating, go ahead and like the video now, because there's an even more surprising feature coming up. The Pteranodon's beak was one of the features that immediately set it apart from many other pterosaurs. Long, sharp, and completely toothless. Its very name comes from this trait, toothless wing. It was one of the first large, toothless flying reptiles discovered in the world of paleontology, which is why it held special significance for scientists as well. This beak was perfectly designed for diving into the water and catching fish, much like today's pelicans or herons. As the Pteranodon hunted in the shallow inland seas of the Cretaceous period, it used this beak almost like a scoop. Which bird alive today do you think this hunting style resembles most? But this perfect weapon had a major flaw. Since it had no teeth, it couldn't chew its prey. It had to swallow the fish whole. This severely limited its diet. It could only feed on small, soft fish. Examinations of fossilized stomach contents confirmed that the remains found were always from small fish species. So this beak made the Pteranodon an effective hunter on one hand, while limiting its feeding options on the other. Some other pterosaurs living during the same era still had teeth, which shows that the Pteranodon had taken a distinctly different evolutionary path. Perhaps this specialization, by tying it to a specific type of prey, also created a long-term vulnerability. If you enjoy discovering details about these ancient creatures, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Behind the Pteranodon's dominance in the sky was another powerful weapon, its sharp eyesight. The size of the eye sockets in its skull structure suggests its vision may have been as advanced as that of today's eagles and hawks. Physiological details like this are among the most important clues that help paleontology research understand how these creatures actually lived. Picture gliding hundreds of meters above the water, needing to spot a tiny fish beneath the surface. That's exactly why its eyes functioned almost like a natural pair of binoculars. In the bright, sunlit inland seas of the Cretaceous period, this ability turned the Pteranodon into a true hunting master. But this sharp vision came at a cost. Its eyes had adapted to open sea and bright sky conditions, which means it likely wasn't very successful at hunting in the dark or in murky waters. This also made it dependent on specific regions and specific times of day within ancient Earth. Scientists believe this limitation may have essentially locked the Pteranodon into hunting during particular windows of time, like sunrise and sunset. Do you think being this specialized is an advantage for a creature, or does it create a hidden vulnerability? Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments, because the secrets of this lost world are only just beginning to unfold. While the Pteranodon was such an impressive creature in the sky, things were completely different on the ground. Its massive wings became almost an obstacle when it tried to move on land. This contrast is considered one of the most fascinating examples found among prehistoric animals. By studying its skeletal structure, scientists believe the Pteranodon moved on all fours on land, in a somewhat clumsy and heavy manner. The joint structures found in fossils show that its wingtips also functioned as forelimbs, but moving quickly in this form would have been nearly impossible. This made it quite vulnerable on land. For the land-dwelling predators of the Cretaceous period, it could have been easy prey. That's exactly why it preferred to spend most of its life along coastlines, on cliffs, or directly in the sky. Paleontology research reveals that this behavior was a fundamental part of its survival strategy. Some scientists believe this is why the Pteranodon almost never stayed on land for extended periods, only taking brief pauses there. Do you think this was nature's way of balancing things out? If you enjoy this kind of Dinosaurs Explained content, don't forget to like the video. Perhaps the most critical moment in a pteranodon's life happened during takeoff. For a creature with such a massive wingspan and such a large body, getting off the ground was no easy task. This is one of the most fascinating questions that has been debated in the world of paleontology for years. Scientists have proposed two main theories: launching itself into the void from high cliffs or leaping into the air using its powerful forelimbs. Both theories attempt to explain why the Pteranodon's habitats during the Cretaceous period were always coastal cliffs and elevated points. This question is still debated in the world of paleontology because finding a fossil that directly captures the moment of takeoff is nearly impossible. Conclusions can only be drawn from skeletal structure. Perhaps this creature was able to use both techniques depending on the environment. Some researchers suggest that on days with strong winds, the Pteranodon may have been able to take off even from flat ground, while on calmer days, it would have needed the advantage of elevation. This suggests its takeoff strategy may have been entirely dependent on weather conditions, much like today's glider planes. If you were there, would you have wanted to watch this massive creature take flight? Write it in the comments. If you love these kinds of prehistoric mysteries, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The massive crest on the Pteranodon's head is one of the biggest mysteries the scientific world still hasn't fully solved. This bony protrusion extending backward from the skull was, in some individuals, almost as long as its entire body. This feature is considered one of the most dramatic head structures found in the prehistoric world. What do you think this crest was for? When fossils were examined, an interesting detail emerged. This crest was smaller in females and much larger and more elaborate in males. This strengthened a theory in the world of paleontology. that, much like the tail of today's peacocks, it may have served as a way to attract mates. Scientists believe these kinds of sexual selection examples may have been far more common in ancient Earth than previously thought. But there's another side to this coin. A bony structure this large meant extra weight and wind resistance during flight, which, according to some scientists, may actually have been a disadvantage. In particularly strong winds, this crest is thought to have thrown off its balance and reduced its maneuverability. If you're curious about these kinds of prehistoric details, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because the secrets of these ancient creatures are far from over. The Pteranodon's entire existence was, in fact, completely tied to a vast marine ecosystem. Another trait that made it both powerful and fragile at the same time. When examined through the lens of Evolution Explained, these kinds of dependencies reveal one of the biggest risks that comes with specialization in nature. That famous Niobrara Formation found in Kansas was actually a massive inland sea that split North America in two during that era. The Pteranodon lived by hunting over this sea and sheltering along its coastlines and cliffs. This inland sea was one of the richest ecosystems of the Cretaceous period, home to many ancient creatures. But this highly specialized lifestyle also carried a major risk. If this marine ecosystem had changed in any way, if water levels dropped, fish populations declined, or the climate shifted, the Pteranodon's survival would have been seriously threatened. Unlike land animals, it couldn't easily adapt to different environments. Geological studies conducted on fossils show that this inland sea remained stable for millions of years, but that stability wouldn't last forever. Do you think being this specialized was an advantage in the long run, or a hidden danger? This question will play a key role in helping us understand the Pteranodon's ultimate fate. If you enjoy discovering how these prehistoric animals lived, don't forget to like the video. And so, we've reached the end of this incredible journey that began millions of years ago in the Jurassic period. The Pteranodon ruled the skies all the way until the end of the Cretaceous period, until that fateful moment, the famous Meteor Impact. This was one of the most dramatic turning points in the history of ancient Earth. This collision, which occurred 66 million years ago, triggered the massive mass extinction that brought an end not only to the dinosaurs, but to many pterosaurs like the Pteranodon as well. Scientists believe the extinction process wasn't caused solely by the impact itself, but also by the climate changes that followed. Clouds of dust blocked out the sun, temperatures dropped, and the marine ecosystem it depended on so heavily began to collapse. Just think about it. A creature that dominated the skies for millions of years vanished from history in a single moment, through an event that changed all of ancient Earth. This is one of the most tragic, yet also one of the most instructive stories in the history of paleontology. Perhaps this was one of nature's harshest lessons. No matter how powerful or dominant you are, no one is ever completely safe from sudden, massive change. Today, all we have left are fossils. But these fossils give us an incredible reward. A story of what happened in this lost world and what Earth before humans truly looked like. Unique, priceless knowledge. Every new fossil discovery actually adds a new piece of knowledge to the world of paleontology, as if we're piecing together one by one the missing fragments of a puzzle that's millions of years old. The Pteranodon's bones, its toothless beak, its massive crest, and its fragile lifestyle tell us not just the story of one creature, but how an entire ancient Earth ecosystem functioned. Today, Pteranodon fossils displayed in museums show millions of visitors a piece of this lost world. Every bone fragment, every tooth mark, every wing remnant inspires scientists to ask new questions. In fact, some paleontology labs are still running three-dimensional simulations on the pteranodon's flight mechanics, because exactly how this creature flew still isn't entirely clear, even today. Studying these prehistoric animals actually helps us better understand our own world today, because the universal rules of specialization, adaptation, and natural balance have never changed. The Pteranodon story, in a way, reminds all of us just how creative and just how ruthless nature can be. Now, as we bring this ancient world story to a close and return to the present, let me ask you one last question. What do you think was the Pteranodon's greatest strength, and what was its greatest weakness? Its story is really a powerful reminder that everything in nature comes at a cost. Write it in the comments. I want to know which trait impressed you the most. If you've stuck with me through this entire Dinosaurs Explained journey, thank you so much. If you enjoy this kind of paleontology and prehistoric animals content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you in the next video with the story of another ancient creatures. See you soon.